Who are you?
Who am I? So I am Pete Beck, Global Head of Sync at Believe Music.
Come on, get ready for the sun. Come on, get ready for the first day of your love. The story's only just
Believe is the world's largest fully independent digital distributor. The goal is to work with independent artists and specifically work those local artists in their own local markets. When I joined Believe, I was handed a laptop with an iTunes library, and that was the sync database. That's how that was done 10 years ago. And what we see now is brands are having to be significantly more targeted and more specific in where and how and why they advertise to consumers. There are more licenses and more pitching opportunities than ever before, but the teams are all the same size. So you need to be able to use tech to facilitate that stuff as much as possible. We probably have quite a few disco accounts. There are A&R people that use it, there are marketing people that use it. We have regular listening sessions amongst the team, all facilitated by disco, where people are going, hey, I found this record from 20 years ago, but I think it works for this brief. We also track briefs, and we track searches, and we track things that get pitched and licensed, so we can see trends in the industry, and we can try and figure out what we might have in the wider Believe catalogue that we can then pull into disco. So Believe distributes millions of masters, and we have a pretty tight roster of sync stuff that we want to work with and that we think we can add value to, and disco is the facilitator of all of that. Particularly in the UK, the supervision community were all using disco, and so it made sense to use the same platform. Certainly from a personal perspective, it just sort of worked with how I liked to discover music and how I like to categorize and pitch music. The kind of breadcrumb trail, when you click on a track, it will open up all the other playlists that track sits in. If I have a brief that says, hey, we need a song that's about heartbreak and has a saxophone in, and I'll go, okay, well, I have one idea for that. That's a good place to start. I click on that track, and then it shows me 20 other playlists with that track in. That's very useful in terms of reigniting old ideas that you might have had, and also being able to collaborate with team members, particularly international team members on different time zones, but just by virtue of being able to see what everybody else is pitching in the same bucket as your initial track. Catalog discovery and facilitating quicker licensing are the two areas where tech is the solution, and we as an industry, a sync industry, need to get a bit more on board with that. One human can never listen to one whole catalogue, so to be able to lean into tech and things like multi-disco search or AI tagging, those things feel like part of the solution to me, and that's been the big win for us by using disco.